Where to begin for this week? This week was my third week um, doing this trading. I made a lot of mistakes. I definitely need to establish that when I go into a trade, I need to basically be comfortable with the amount that I'm going to lose here. And this last day was really eye opening for me on Friday. Um, I went into this trade. I knew it was going to go down. I was like telling myself like, yeah, this is down. It's hitting the resistance zone. It's got a double one, right? So I was like, there's no way it's going to keep going up. Well, it goes down. I was thinking to myself, like, should I just take this like $300? I am copy trading, right? So I have two accounts. So that would have been, basically $600. And I was like, no, it's going to go farther. Well, it turns around on me and I erase my stop loss. I learned my lesson the hard way. Don't do that anymore. And basically from now on, whenever I go into a trade, if I'm not comfortable with losing the money, then I shouldn't go into a trade, right? So I was like, if it goes up, it'll come back down. Well, I learned why you just make the market break you out, right? So I learned don't move your stop loss too early, and then I also learned don't get rid of your stop loss because I was like, oh man, I don't want it to go up, tick me out, and then go back down. Well, it ended up being way worse than that. So yeah, there's that. Like I don't know why I get in the middle of these trades. I get so like, oh man, if it moves without me, I'm gonna miss it. Well, the size of the moves that I'm going for, like it's okay if I go in halfway or if I don't get it right at the peak. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. Like if it doesn't double back, then it's probably not a trade that I want to be in anyways, right? So I'm going in too early. I need to let it convince me that I need to go in. Not need to, but I should go in. You know what I mean? So there's that. That was pretty rough. So it goes all the way up there. I'm like, oh man, it could just rip and go up, right? Like I'm like at this point, I'm like, holy cow. Like I need to let it go down as close as I can, get to where I bought it, and then exit out of this trade. Right, so emotions are high. I'm like freaking out because I was already like positive like $300, right? And now for the week for two accounts, and now I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna lose all of that and more because of this one trade. And I didn't even want to trade on Fridays, right? I said I was gonna take Fridays off because this is an emotional battle. It's very mentally exhausting being a beginner at this. So I was just like, I just cut my losses, right? And then I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna, I'll just bid in because it's gonna go up. So another thing I need to learn is do not bid back in immediately. Like just don't. I think that's probably revenge trading. So that's what that's called. But yeah, it just got worse for me, and I kept doing it for most of this day. But at the end here, you'll see that I finally at the end I got a couple of small wins. I lost more. I went down to like negative 700. I lost like $1,000, $1,100, and then I went back down to 700. And then I went back up to 1100, and then I went down to like I did like a $400 trade, and then I was like in the middle of it. I was like, what am I doing? So here I was like, yep. I was like, it's going down. It's gonna go down. Like it created a new low, a little bit of resistance. Gonna shoot down, and let's see. I guess I'm negative 600 there. I just held. I was like, you know what? If I lose 250, then I lose 250. It's whatever. Finish this day worse than I did for the week, right? So yeah, basically I just held out. I was a little freaked out. I kept touching the X button, but I kept fighting myself like, no, dude, just stay in it, right? And that's the key. Like this, it's super fun. It's super coming from like an X gamer, right? Like well, not really X gamer, but I did World of Warcraft for a long time. Cutting Edge, Mythic Raider, AOTC, Gladiator, and Arena, right? I played it for like 12 years. I did that. I did League of Legends, got to Diamond. I mean, this is definitely a rush, right? Trading is really crazy. But if I hit my TP here and I came out like another $100 or something, like positive for the day, and I just shut it all down. I was like, I'm done. That's it. Swing 1,000 one way, come back the other way. So coming from that, I definitely like. I think the hardest part about this is literally just controlling yourself and controlling your emotions. But not only that, knowing like when you start your stops, that that should be just like religiously. You don't move them. And yes, sometimes sometimes it'll work. But that's a dangerous slope, and I found that out. I found that out Friday. So don't move your stops, stop loss, your target price, whatever, for the most part. But do not move your stop loss. Good grief. They quit right because like if I wouldn't have moved the stop loss, it would have ticked me out. It would have went the other way. I would have lost 250. I lost almost $1,000 off that. So I am double trading, showing my two accounts. I'm up $500 this week. Yep, $114 I ended up with that, but I swung negative 1,000, 1,100 twice. So, yeah, the Thursday wasn't that great either. So, I need to slow down. And if the market's not doing what I'm looking for, then just don't do anything. I think that I'm just rushing it, and I think that my how much I like the trading and the aspect of maybe I could make some money here is what's causing the problem. So I need to wait, look for the signs, bid in, don't change my stop loss, and ride it out. And that's basically it. So thanks for watching. And I hope this is helpful to anybody else that's trying to get into this. Thank you.